Ever wonder what happens when a race of elves turns its back on the light? Today, we're delving into the dark and tragic story of the Heartland Elves, better known as the Eliza tale of glory, betrayal, and a descent into utter darkness. The Elides are the true-born grandchildren of the ancient elves, but their path diverged dramatically from their ancestors. Over 12,000 years ago, during the First Era, they forged the first great elven empire. It was a civilization of immense power and architectural marvels, a beacon of elven might. But where their progenitors, the High Elves, embraced the divine light of the goddess Meridia, the Elides made a fateful choice. They turned away, embracing instead the shadowy teachings of Morgana, the god of void, death, and the great beyond. This single act of rebellion set them on a course of cruelty and corruption. They abandoned their sacred duty as protectors of life and became its enslavers. In a horrifying twist, they even subjugated their own parents and grandparents. Under the Elide banner, all so-called lesser races were crushed. The emerging race of humans, in particular, suffered immensely, pushed to the very brink of extinction by a brutal, genocidal campaign. The Elide Empire was a superpower, no doubt, but its foundation of tyranny was destined to crumble. By the end of the First Era, the Great Elide Elven War erupted. It was a conflict of cataclysmic scale, and at its conclusion, the Elides were believed to have been utterly wiped from existence. But history is full of secrets, and the darkest secrets often refuse to stay buried. Whispers began to circulate, tales of survivors hiding in the deepest shadows of the world. These weren't just rumors. The Elides had indeed survived, but not as a thriving civilization. They retreated into secrecy, taking refuge in ancient, long-forgotten citadels, their existence a closely guarded secret. And in their isolation, they achieved something more than mere immortality. They transcended life itself. As a final, bitter punishment, their own ancient elven grandparents cursed them with the power of Meridia. This curse ensured that no Elide could ever be born again from high elven blood, cutting off their lineage forever. Now their existence is a dark stain on history. Those who still walk the lands of Pandoria do so from the shadows, patiently biding their time, gathering strength from the void itself. They wield a unique and terrifying form of magic, one that draws upon the true light within darkness. By channeling power directly from the void, they can generate incredible strength, making them a force of pure terror to any who would stand against them. So, what does an Elide look like? Physically, they are imposing figures, standing at a formidable 6 feet 4 inches and taller, with an average weight of around 220 pounds. They possess a commanding presence. They are immortal. Their lives are naturally prolonged by their dark pacts. On foot, they move at a swift 40 feet, and they are capable swimmers as well. Their alignment is almost universally chaotic evil, a reflection of their history and their devotion to Morgana. They speak common and elven, but also retain fluency in the ancient language of their distant ancestors. In terms of their innate abilities, Alides are both incredibly intelligent and fiercely charismatic. Their minds are sharp, honed by centuries of plotting and arcane study, while their presence alone can command obedience or instill terror. This makes them natural manipulators, masters of deception, and scholars of the darkest arcane arts. Unsurprisingly, their mere reputation is enough to intimidate those who know the true history of their empire. Their connection to the void grants them extraordinary resilience. They have a natural resistance to necrotic damage, the very energy of death and decay that they so readily command. Furthermore, having transcended the frailties of mortal life, they are completely immune to all diseases. But this power comes with a crippling price. The curse of Meridia has left them with a profound vulnerability to radiant energy. The divine light they once rejected is now their greatest weakness, dealing double damage to them and searing their void-touched forms. The Elide's unique magic is a testament to their fall from grace. By level 5, an Elide can unleash a void light bolt. This isn't just a simple spell. It's a terrifying fusion of necrotic and radiant energy. The bolt strikes for a devastating amount of both damage types, a paradoxical mix of light and dark that can bypass conventional magical resistances. As they grow in power, they unlock even more sinister abilities. The Shroud of Shadows allows an allied to become completely invisible for up to a minute. But this isn't simple invisibility. While cloaked, they can pass through magical barriers and wards as if they weren't there, making it the perfect tool for infiltration and assassination, skills they have perfected over millennia of secret-keeping. At the apex of their personal power, an Alide can summon the light within darkness. This ability creates a swirling 30-foot aura of raw necrotic and radiant energy. For their allies, this aura is a font of strength, granting them a massive shield of temporary hit points. But for their enemies, it is a vortex of pure destruction, inflicting grievous damage every single round they remain within its grasp. This powerful aura lasts for a full minute and is so potent that it cannot be dispelled by normal means. Their passive abilities are just as frightening. Through dark ascendance, an Alite can draw strength from the very act of killing. When they fell an enemy, they can absorb a portion of their life force, healing themselves in the process. It's a grim but effective way to sustain themselves in the heat of battle. As unseen masters, they are experts at moving through the shadows. They gain a distinct advantage on stealth checks in darkness or dim light, and can even navigate through magical darkness without any penalty, making them the ultimate lurkers. But perhaps the most terrifying ability in their arsenal is the Void Lord's blessing. By calling upon their dark god Morgana, an allied can temporarily transform into a Void Lord, a being of pure void energy. For 1 minute, they are granted the power of flight, soaring on wings of shadow. Their melee attacks become charged with necrotic energy, and they emanate an aura of despair that can send even the bravest warriors fleeing in terror. In this form, they are even immune to the radiant damage that is normally their greatest weakness. However, this transformation exacts a heavy toll. When they revert to their normal form, They are left utterly exhausted, and their magical abilities are severely hampered until they can rest and recover. The legacy of the Elides is one of cruelty that has left a permanent scar on the world. Their name is spoken in hushed, fearful tones, a cautionary tale among all races, especially other elves, of what happens when ambition curdles into tyranny. They were the first to unlock the secrets of what they call true light magic, the forbidden art of manipulating both radiant and necrotic forces together. This has allowed them to create artifacts and spells of unimaginable power, but it has also cost them their souls. In their hidden citadels, they continue their dark work. They are master architects, but their cities are infused with void magic, inaccessible and hostile to outsiders. There, they conduct twisted experiments, blending magic and technology in an unending quest for more power. And all of it is driven by the curse of their ancestors. Denied the ability to procreate naturally, they have turned to the darkest forms of necromancy, desperately seeking ways to perpetuate their bloodline and cheat their fate. The Heartland Elves are a fallen people, once proud rulers who now skulk in the shadows. They are tragic figures, defined by their dark history, their fearsome power, and the curse that ensures their slow, inevitable decline. They are a reminder that the brightest light can indeed cast the darkest shadow. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the lore of the Elves. If you enjoyed this journey into the darkness, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Let us know in the comments which race you'd like to see us cover next. Until then, stay curious.